Team.
And because Boston is the closest major port to Europe, it made sense to have this huge warehouse built here. And then after the war, it became a design warehouse. Just for your information, that is D Street. Years ago, not one of these buildings, not even one, would have been here. These are all new. That's why I don't know where Rite Aid is. There are people who are living here now, but it mostly is offices, laboratories, and some shopping. But the area really isn't a neighborhood yet because it's grown so fast here until about a year and a half ago. If you look to the right, you'll see a building with the name Vertex. Vertex is a biotechnology firm looking for cures for various serious diseases. Boston grow economically right from the start were banking and insurance. And ship owners needed money, of course. They needed to be lent money to build their ships. And that helped with the creation of the first banks in the United States. The state decided they wanted to put the highway underground. You can see we're passing a nice fountain here. Great place for children to play. And the highway is still underground, taking people north and south to and from Boston. And there's this beautiful park on the top of what was a highway with all these lovely trees. And the park is maintained by a private organization, the Rose Kennedy Greenway Conservancy. In the middle of Christopher Columbus Park, again on the right, is an area that's fenced in, just behind a fountain there, and that is the Rose Kennedy Rose Garden. And of course, Rose Kennedy was the mother of John F. Kennedy and Robert F. Kennedy. And she was born and brought up in the North End. She was born to a poor Irish family, the Fitzgeralds, in the North End. Look up to your left, and you will see the steeple of the Old North Church, the famous Old North Church, that white steeple. Does everyone see it up to the left? Yes. That is the Old North Church. Beautiful, beautiful church. My favorite stop on the Freedom Trail. The Freedom Trail is a collection of 17 historical sites here in Boston, scattered throughout the city. And of course, the Old North Church became famous in 1975 when two lanterns were hung by the sexton in the church steeple to alert Paul Revere, who was waiting in a rowboat for the signal, to row across the river here, Charles River, and mount a horse that was waiting for him so he could ride throughout the countryside, warning people that, as they had said then, the regulars were out. They didn't call them the British. They didn't say the British are coming because they were all British at that point. But the military was referred to as the regulars. And so he rode his horse very fast through the countryside, shouting, "The regulars are out tonight, the regulars are out tonight." And the lanterns signified which way the British were leaving Boston. The Zeka Bridge is and it instantly became a local favorite here in Boston, and is on all sorts of mugs and cups and t-shirts. Championship, and that was a very big deal, very exciting. And there was a parade held in the Celtics' honor last week. If you look on the right, you'll see a statue of Bobby Orr. Bobby Orr is a famous hockey player. As I say, the Boston Bruins, which is our hockey team, also plays here. And the Boston Garden is the home of the North Station, railroad station, with lots of trains going to the northern and western suburbs in Boston. So it's a major commuter hub. Stanford Street. Doesn't look great, but not terrible on this side. We are coming up on Government Center. That church is called the Old West Church. It was designed by Asher Benjamin, and it is still an active church, built in the early 1800s in the federal style of architecture. And as we go past, you'll see a playground. It's a daycare center is also at the church. Although it's sort of obscured by trees, is Boston City Hall. And Boston City Hall was built in the Brutalist style and opened in 1969. Other people who are fond of modern architecture like it. So now we're coming up on Tremont Street, and we will see several historic sites. Through the left window, left side of the bus, you will see one of the oldest burial grounds in Boston, the King's Chapel Burial Ground, dating from the 1600s, the 1640s. And right next to it is King's Chapel. This was a chapel built for the British, who of course were Anglicans, what we would call Episcopalians. I think you can make this left here. Boy, it's going to be tough. So, as I said, King's Chapel was built for the British, who were ruling the colonists. And they wanted to build a chapel, but none of the colonists would sell them any land, so they just took it. And then, of course, during the Revolution, the chapel was closed, and eventually it reopened as a combination of an Episcopal or Anglican church and a Unitarian church. It has a very unusual liturgy, and it's still a very active church. It looks sort of gray and dark on the outside, but on the inside it's beautiful and light and white. Very nice building on the inside, and the original dates from 1686. And also on the left you'll see a statue of Benjamin Franklin. And that statue is in front of old Boston City Hall. I just showed you new Boston City Hall. This is old Boston City Hall. Now, the statue of Benjamin Franklin suffered an unusual problem about 5 years ago. It fell off its pedestal, but luckily it's been restored. And the other statue we're passing is Josiah Quincy, who was the first mayor of Boston. district of Boston. One doesn't generally associate wool with Boston, but all of the buildings on either side of the street here were warehouses holding wool, and the home of a number of wool merchants. Now they are all office buildings. As I said, headed back to the ship. We should be there in less than 5 minutes.
I'm from the Shore Excursion team. We're aware of what happened on your tour.